Hello, everybody. A wonderful new year to you all. We are here again for another exciting edition of Counseling Hour. Keep your dial on 88.7. It is Kafi Milsodo, your host, and we'll be here to have another, I'll say, in-depth conversation on a very critical topic called sleep deprivation. I think it's critical now, looking at what is happening around us and all the other things that people are struggling with. To help me on this topic today, I have Dr. Kojo Koba-Esel, CEO of Health Essentials and the author of a recent book, Unraveling Essentials of Health and Wealth. We don't have Reverend Hagen with us today. Certainly, he is also engaged elsewhere, but he will join us in our next edition to look at another aspect of this. Dr. Esel.
Hello, Lady Catherine.
Happy
New Year to everyone.
Yes.
To be here,
It
and we
is.
look forward to a healthy, fabulous, and blessed 2021.
Yes, we do, right? I think we've talked about that over and over again.
Sure,
And
sure.
so one aspect of dealing with that is enabling us to thrive properly is to look also at patterns of sleep. And we are looking at the issue of sleep deprivation.
Yes.
Dr. Esel, yes, I wonder what that is. I mean, can someone ever have enough or over or under or whatever? Let's talk about sleep deprivation. Let's just go ahead and start this conversation.
Okay. So let me. I'm going to draw us back. I like to draw us back
Of
and
course.
then set it right.
Yeah.
No, so for many times, if I'm sure our listeners, yourself, that we've all experienced this situation where we sleep for hours, but we still feel tired, right? Now we just don't seem to get adequate rest.
Yeah.
Now this tells us that getting rest does not depend only on sleep. Sleep is crucial,
Okay.
but there are different aspects of rest. So some of them include physical rest, emotional rest, sensorial. We have too many sensory organs working. Creative rest, mental rest, social rest, spiritual rest, and then physical rest. And sleep falls into the physical rest component. So sometimes it's a matter of being able to draw, paint, do your gardening. That is the creative aspect. All these come together to give you rest. So you need rest. For an adult, averagely we need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep a day.
Okay.
You may not get it all, right? But as much as possible, you need to catch up. Take a nap, if possible, during the day to catch up.
Okay.
If you continue getting less than the 7 hours, at a point in time, your body is going to punish you. Now, oversleeping, that is doing more than the 9 hours, is also not a good thing. It may actually be a sign of an illness or a disease, and it needs to be looked into.
I see.
Right? So, yes, there can be situations where we undersleep, situations where we oversleep, and situations where we get adequate amount of sleep.
Okay.
But now these days it's become like a badge of honor. As I don't sleep, I work throughout the night.
Exactly.
Please, we are deceiving ourselves because we will not be able to perform at our optimum if we are undersleeping, if we do not get adequate sleep. Now, when you talk about sleep too, it's not just a matter of the number of hours, but also the quality.
Yeah.
How deep did you sleep? Because sometimes you just sort of sleeping, it's very light. You can even hear the dogs barking. You can hear taps flowing. It's a little noise. You are up. Yeah. All these are not proper, or they may not give you the rest that you need. Now, the other thing about sleep is that we have about, many people have described stages in the sleep pattern.
Yeah.
So Some have described 4 stages, some have described 5 stages. I'll just use the 4. It's easier, right?
Okay.
So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and the stage 4, which some people call REM, rapid eye movements. That's when we do the dreams and all those things.
Wow, that's a huge vocabulary to two.
Yes, that's when we dream and all that, right? So
yeah. Let me just get in a bit and then we come back to this. So I think listeners out there, this is a critical conversation we're having, and I'm here, Kafui Milsodoi, with our resource person, Dr. Kojokoba Isil. We are looking at the issue of sleep deprivation, and it's a critical one. This is 88.7 Sunny FM, Counseling Hour. So, Dr. Isil, just to sum up what you said, I just want us to give some kind of definition of what deprivation of sleep is.
Okay.
So then we go into the stages you've talked about. Okay. So if we're telling a lay person what sleep deprivation is, what are we actually referring to?
Okay. So now, remember that I said for the adult, the average number of hours is between 7 and 9.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And of course, for children, teenagers can be up to about 10 hours, right? Roughly. Okay. So 9 to 10 hours.
Hey.
But so anything, sleep deprivation is any time where you consistently sleep less than the 7 hours.
Okay.
Right? Or your quality of sleep is poor, which means you are not sleeping deep enough, and it's very easy to arouse you. You should be able to fall asleep and maintain sleep.
Okay.
But for some people, fall asleep around 2 a.m., 3 a.m., they are awake. You know, that may be a mark of anxiety. It may be a mark that you have sleep disorders, such as what we call sleep apnea. It's a form of breathing problem. Yeah. So you at a point you snore, and at a point you cannot get enough air, so your body jolts you up to keep you alive. You know, and then you wake up. Or you may have other conditions such as prostate problems, so you are waking up several times to urinate. So yes, so that is it. And then you have others who get into bed, they cannot fall asleep, and then they stay awake for a long time only to fall asleep around 4 a.m. They have to probably wake up at 5 a.m. Yes. And that may also be another pointer to some mental health issues, right? So sleep really, really, really revolves around a lot of mental health issues. It can pronounce mental health issues, or mental health issues may also worsen your sleep. And then it also gives rise to many, many physical conditions, which we will discuss, I'm sure.
I think that helps. I mean, us now continue to look deeper into the 4 stages you mentioned. So, what are those, and what do they really imply, to us?
So, I think in when you sleep in your let's assume that you are doing 8 hours.
Okay.
I know it's difficult. People are waking up early to go to work because of the traffic in certain cities. People get back late, and it's so difficult to make that 8 hours.
And prayer warriors are staying alive.
I know, right? We need that too, especially when I spoke to you about spiritual rest. We need that to balance the thing.
Yeah.
So you need several cycles of these stage 1 to 4 in the night. More than 2, 3, 4. Now, stage 1 and 2 are very light sleep. So in my stage 1, you can see yourself drifting into sleep. Stage 2, you can more or less, you may be in sync with your surroundings a bit. So these are light sleep. Stage 3 is deep, right? When you actually get a lot of rest, right? And then the stage 4 or REM sleep. Let's just make it short. REM sleep. That is when you actually have your brain very, very active, although you're asleep. So many people, or many of us, tend to have dreams, nightmares, lovely dreams, planning. Many of them take place in this phase or stage of the sleep, And so ideally, each of these stages per cycle should last about 45 minutes. So you can imagine. So let's say you go through that's about 180 minutes, and then you should go through 2 or 3 cycles, to be able to get proper restful sleep.
I think it's very interesting how we've put these into different levels, and to appreciate the fact that you can, from this discussion, we can tell that you've been hovering between stages 1 and 2.
I tell you, many times we are waking up. We have our phones by us, so we never get past it. And the phone rings or a message comes. So, yes.
But, so what I want to ask in this, before I move on, is for those who sometimes you ask, do you ever dream? They say no. I mean, is it that they never get to that level, or it never happens?
Not exactly. I mean, what I mean, at that point, there are a lot of activity, brain activity. So yes, that is a time to dream, but not everyone will dream. But dreams shouldn't always be when you are asleep. We should also dream when we are awake.
Absolutely. Hey, but this one, we need to be careful when you are driving and dreaming.
No, not that kind of dream. No, sitting and dreaming of what.
Absolutely.
But let me just say one thing.
Go ahead.
2 points about sleep. Sleep. If you push me against the wall, I'm sure I may have mentioned this in this program before. And that's before one thing you could do for your health. I would say you should start with sleeping, getting adequate amounts of sleep.
Yeah, you said so.
It is that silver bullet. It can change the whole game. It makes things fall into perspective. And most of all, for those of us who want to burn a midnight candle, right? We should remember that sleep is like the save button on a computer. We can do or try to learn things, try to figure out things, but we might never get it till we sleep. You give the brain that chance to press on that save button, and that is when you're able to store information, you're able to link them, and then you can come up with solutions that you never dreamt you could. So what our folks say, what was then? I dream was Susie. There's a proverb like that, right? To the effect that your pillow helps you comes up with ideas and solutions. So it is true. It is true. Sleep is super.
It's very true. We used to wonder why, when we were back then in school, our headmistress used to insist on, have the full night, and then they would make sure they monitor and then, give some corrective and punitive measures to those who wake up in the night to sleep and do all sorts of things, you see, saying that we are mining, or what we used to favorably call abuna and things like that.
Yes, those were good habits that we should have kept. Especially we used to have a nap time, and the nap time was short. That is the important thing about naps. Naps should be short. Long naps may affect your sleep later on. Right? So 30 minutes to 45 minutes, great nap time. Anything beyond 1 hour becomes an issue. Okay.
So what are those symptoms of, I'm sure there should be something that would tell you that, look, this is a sign you're not getting enough sleep, your quality of sleep is poor, and things like that. Would there be something like that, I believe?
Yes.
What are those then?
And our bodies tell us all the time, when we listen to our bodies. So there are many, but let me try and put them up into general groups, maybe... I say psychological and then physical, because now you realize that you may be getting headaches. Right? Now you start dozing. Dozing. So you are sitting and then you are feeling sleepy. You are driving, you are feeling sleepy. Right? And of course, those things may be pointing to certain peculiar diseases. And if we have time, you realize that you cannot concentrate properly. And your memory seems to be not as good as it used to be. That doesn't mean that whenever our memory is we cannot go to sleep.
You guys sleep.
These are some of the signs. And then your reaction time may be slower. So maybe something is dropping. You have caught it, but you are slow to act. You have to do your assignments. You are unable to complete it. You understand? Now, poor concentration, slow reaction times. this leads to accidents. So you realize that some people, they're getting minor accidents. That's how it starts.
Okay.
Bumping into walls, dropping things. And we say, oh, you are clumsy. Sometimes these are telltale signs that we should be looking at.
Okay.
People start getting frequent colds, common colds, because their immune system drops. And that's one of the things we kept talking about when we started discussing COVID.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
immune system, to build your immune system, you need to sleep and to sleep properly. Then you may feel depressed. You just feel sad because you're just not getting enough sleep. And for some people, at this point, they may stray into getting what? Let me say alcohol.
Okay.
So you realize that people start drinking alcohol because it makes them sleep. It is a great deceiver.
Yeah.
Because alcohol may let you fall asleep quickly, but it will wake you up. And it will not give you deep quality sleep either. So the cycle continues unabated. Then other things, the physical. You may suddenly realize that your blood pressure is difficult to control. It's just going up. You may suddenly realize you're putting on weight. Develop diabetes just like that. You are spending hours sitting, you are probably walking around, picking things from the kitchen, snacking, throughout. And you become, what would I say? Obese or overweight.
Yeah.
You become emotional. Your emotional stability becomes, your emotions swing back and forth all over the place because you are not getting enough sleep. You become irritated. Yes, things that would normally not irritate you, suddenly you are irritated, you are angry, and even to the extent that our hormones get affected. So you may find that, even let's say, for example, for women, your menses is not working adequately. For males, maybe even your hair starts falling off, things like that. And we refer to
hair falling off.
if you're not getting the hormones to maintain certain things. But the baldness is a different story altogether.
Yes.
And we sometimes refer to our guts as the second brain, right? I don't know if you've heard that. Our guts, from the, where we swallow all the way to the stomach intestine. Because it has this way of being able to tell. You know that there's something happening. It's telling you, it's directing you. You understand? The gut is sharp. And when you're deprived of sleep, your gut starts misbehaving. So you are not tolerating certain foods. You are having bouts of diarrhea, vomiting, which cannot be explained by anything. So some of these are some of the telltale signs that we should beware of. Yes.
I think it's good we are going into some of these, things because, sometimes you're just lost. You can't, like a compass has gone haywire. You just realize your emotions are just all over the place. Your head is woozy. You feel as if there's cotton wool all over your head.
I
know. You can't remember things quickly. You struggle to draw, conclusions or analyze things, especially if you're doing a lot of mental work and things like that. And so these are things that I'm glad we are bringing them up and all. I mean, if these are the symptoms, I'm wondering if people, it definitely would affect certain types of jobs, and if your job is making sure you calculate and get figures right, and you are in places where treatment and things have to be calculated in a particular manner, you have to stand on your feet and operate certain machines,
machinery,
exactly, vehicles, teach children, and in all these things. So I'm wondering,
sleep deprivation affects every facet of our lives.
I see.
There is no area where you can say, oh, this one where you are sleep deprived, you can pull through. No, it affects everything. All the ones you have mentioned and many more. You understand?
I'm just, amazed at some of the things you're saying, and even putting the dots on some of my own, habits.
I
some of
know.
our own habits and things,
You realize I'm struggling, sitting behind the desk. It's 2 a.m. We still want to do the work. And it's taking us 3 hours.
Yes.
If we had taken that sleep, I'm sure it was taking us an hour.
Absolutely.
But, these days we still want to sit and we want to do it, but we are causing more harm than good. And, I fall into that trap. I'm sure you do. Many of us do. But 2021, sleep is king, and we should all make it one of our priorities. I'm sure we'll have a chance to talk about sleep hygiene, which is huge.
In fact, it's something. It's one of the. We said we're going to do this as a series. Some of the key things would be sleep hygiene, and then how to deal with your sleep debt and things like that.
Excellent. So today we'll probably just spend a minute and just give people that.
Yes. Just give someone. So once you've raised it, we just give a little,
Sure. So this is a teaser.
Yes.
So one thing, for many people, they'll come and tell you, "Oh, doctor, I can't sleep. Just give me a pill." That pill is only masking a problem. If you are unable to sleep, if you are undersleeping, if you are oversleeping, if you are napping, if you are dozing even when you are sitting in the office, there is an underlying problem that we need to find. It's only after we have found that cause that we may be able to give you some sleep met for a few days. But as much as possible, we should find it. The pill it doesn't solve it, right? Now, generally, when we talk about sleep hygiene, it's about what the things that would help improve your sleep pattern. Right. And essentially, we keep saying that we need to exercise. We need to exercise. 4 to 6 hours after exercising, your core temperature drops. So it feels cool and your body is willing to sleep. So if you exercise in the morning, you realize that around 11 a.m., you feel sleepy even when you're in the office. But it's easy to walk it off, right? Now, although we say exercise is good for sleep, if you're going to sleep at 10 a.m., you don't go and exercise at 9. Sorry, if you're going to sleep at 10 p.m., you don't go exercising at 9 p.m. That will make you too alert. So at least 4 to 6 hours before or much earlier, right? So let's make exercise part of it. Now, our sleep time and wake up time should be regular. The body likes regularity, right? So go to bed at the same time and wake up approximately the same time. Right, so if you're going to bed at 10, go to bed at 10. If you're waking up at 4, wake up at 4. If you're waking up at 5, you understand?
Yes. Have some consistency.
Consistency. Body loves consistency. So there are some days you may go off a bit. But assuming you have a day when you want to sleep in, it is better to wake up, go around, do 1 or 2 things, and then come and continue than break that cycle, because these are all learned actions. So once your body learns it, let it keep up to you. Then temperature is number 3. So I said exercise, 2 regularity, 3 temperature. So with temperature, the body, it's easier to sleep when your surroundings are cool. So if it is very warm, unfortunately, it's not everyone who can create that warm. But if you can, as much as possible, does it mean getting lighter curtains? Does it mean opening your windows? As much as possible, let's create something that is a little cool. Too much heat makes sleeping difficult. And then darkness. The darker it is, the easier it is for you to fall asleep. That is why shift workers, those who work at night, find it so difficult to sleep. And as much as possible, you have to encourage them to try and cut the sun or light from their rooms. Unfortunately, most of these people, when they close from work, they go and do 1, 2, 1, 2 in town. By the time they come, with 3 hours to go back to work. So that sleep cycle becomes something else. Then we have to also reduce things like caffeine, alcohol, spices at night. Right? So I would say if you haven't sleep challenge, if you want to have good sleep, by 3 p.m., even if you can make it earlier, you shouldn't be doing caffeine, coffee, tea, You shouldn't be eating spicy foods. Spices, not that the spice would affect your sleep, but the spices may cause heartburn. Which would wake you up when you are enjoying the sleep, then it wakes you up.
And they have to go get some medication by the time you finish.
But it's all messed up. Then we also talk about winding down. You see, sometimes when you talk about winding down, many of us say, this thing it is too complicated. How many adults can wind down? Well, we are not talking about something in the clouds. All we're saying is that if you want to sleep at 10, At 9 p.m., you are probably putting your laptop away.
Yeah.
TV, you stop. Nice time to even sit and relax and meditate and pray, right? Your phone is probably on silent at that time. It's away from your bed. You know, you have dim lights or no light, and gradually you get into that sleep. You understand? You don't just your laptop is there, then you just shift it to the side, and then you want your body to sleep.
Yes,
some people are that lucky. You know, some people are that lucky and will fall asleep and stay asleep. Yeah. But the majority of us, you may be sleeping, but you'll be in stage 1 and 2, and because those lights, that glare, it keeps background. You know, it's not the very best. And then the final thing I would say.
So you were on the final thing. I mean, we had a little pause, but yeah.
So the final point on sleep hygiene that I brought up was, if before your bedtime you have a lot of things on your mind, things you want to complete and not down, you need to write them down. Just write it down. You can even type it on your phone. You see, once the brain knows that you have saved the information, it can rest. It knows that it's much enough. It knows that, okay, now you have that information down. You won't forget about it. So I would leave you alone.
Okay.
This one is easy to try. So just try it. Before you do it, just put it down. And it works magic. It works magic. Great. So those are my pointers on sleep hygiene.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we'll have a full session committed to sleep hygiene, you know, and then because these are things we need to do some deep dives. Yes. I'm just wondering, is sleep deprivation fatal? Can it cause fatalities?
Okay. I mean, so like anything else, when you do not stop it in its track, at a point it can become. Remember, I said sometimes you have slow reaction times, you have poor concentration. That is recipe for accidents.
I see.
If you are driving, it can get you killed. We had also said that it causes high blood pressure, heart disease, and even strokes are related to poor sleep.
Wow.
Right? And diabetes. Now, all these things fall into what we call heart and blood vessel diseases or cardiovascular diseases. And they are the number 1 killers in the world at the moment. Up to 18 million adults a year.
Good
so yes,
heavens.
If we do not nip it, it can be fatal eventually. It can.
I think, I mean, better late than just have ourselves get into that category, right? I mean, I think we should correct this and try to, before our systems start shutting down after some continuous days of not sleeping, you know, and getting all these things. The 18 million adults a year. Wow.
18.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, 18 million.
Good heavens. But it's been good. I mean,
not from sleep, but from heart and blood vessel disease.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yes.
Cardiovascular disease.
Yes. That's what was surprising to me. But this is good. I mean, we continue looking at these in subsequent series. We would also look at the emotional and, mental part of it. But I'm happy we are looking at the physiological effects of sleep. But we'll go into other aspects. But thank you so much. It's been great. Listeners, I'm sure you took your notes and have actually learned something, at least if nothing at all. You can understand that the stages of sleep, the 4 stages of sleep, are quite critical. And we need to give ourselves quality sleep. And the quantity as well we must be mindful of that.
Yes.
Dr. Esel, isn't that awesome?
It's been a good one.
We'll continue, certainly. Yes.
Don't feel right. Start off. If you want to start a healthy life, start off with sleeping.
Absolutely. So we'll definitely will continue next week.
Sure.
And so let's keep masking.
Definitely.
Hey.
Keep the protocols.
Keep the protocols. Very important. And it is another bye-bye from us, and we will say it together. Bye-bye.